Let me show you how you get rid of that. Follow me!
They flew out of the room, through the building, and into a small room at the back of the entryway, the craft room. Beckett sailed right to the back of the room and passed through the wall.
No!
Kaz wanted to follow the man through the walls, but he just couldn't. Beckett kept calling for him, but Kaz didn't answer. He shrunk down as far as he could, but she still found him.
I promise I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to talk to you.
Kaz was nervous at first, but he became curious when Claire started drawing something in a book.
What are you doing? This is a notebook of drawings of ghosts I've met. I only started seeing this about 6 months ago.
Claire stopped for a moment and decided to speak in front of the wall. Come on down. That's better.
My mom didn't react though. My mom said, Claire, you have to promise you won't tell anyone you see ghosts. You have to act normal. People think you're weird.
Claire turned the pages while Kaz looked on. He saw Beckett, who he just followed through the library, and then he found another ghost he knew.
Wait, that's my brother Finn. I know him. When was the last time you saw him? About a couple weeks ago, right here in the library. I only saw him once though. I've got to find him. Will you help me?
Suddenly, the library lights started to flicker on and off, and a ghostly ooh started coming from outside the craft room. Claire and Kaz ran out to see what was going on. Suddenly, the lights came back on, and they were gathered in the entryway with the other library patrons.
I saw it. I saw the library ghost. I saw it too. I saw it too. It was right up there. You know that ghosts aren't real. It must be a shadow. It was not a shadow. It was a ghost. Oh yeah, I saw it floating up there. And it rolled shadows. It was not, but probably just a man.
That sounds like a song cue.
Claire, I think my brother Finn is the one that spotted him. I don't think it's him.
I don't know.
Probably Beckett. He's probably been on like for years. Wouldn't he have passed us on the way though?
Claire took Kaz all over the library to see if there was any sign of his brother Finn. There wasn't.
I guess you're right. Maybe Beckett is on the library. I'm sorry. Claire, who are you talking to? No one, Grandma. You're not looking for the library ghost, are you? Yeah, you know ghosts prefer to be left alone. Now off to bed. You heard her. Gotta go to bed. We'll look for the ghost tomorrow.
Kaz wasn't sure what this sleep thing was, but it sure took a long time. She was gone the whole rest of the night. Later, Kaz saw Claire's mom and dad come home.
I'm so tired. It's been a long night. I'm gonna go check on Claire. I'll be right in.
Bored, Kaz floated around and came across that older ghost Beckett, reading a book. This was a surprise. Ghosts can't usually hold solid objects, but Beckett seemed to be having no trouble with the book in front of him.
When did what come in?
Kaz stayed with Beckett for a while longer. He was a nice enough ghost, a little uptight perhaps.
Hey!
Sorry. But friendly, once you talked to him for a while. When Kaz saw Claire again, he told her that Beckett was not the library ghost. So they were back to square one. The next day, the library ghost appeared again. Kaz noticed something strange this time. After the glowing stopped, nothing was there.
Why is that weird? Because since I'm a ghost, after a normal one stops glowing, I'll still be able to see it. Oh, that makes sense.
Some men came looking for Claire's grandmother. Claire found her and brought her to see them. It turns out the men were the trustees for the library.
Karen, we've heard parents and concerned that ghosts are haunting this library. The trustees aren't afraid of a little ghost, are they? Of course we're not afraid of ghosts. If it continues, then it's not like that. Now we really have to solve this mystery.
They decided to do some real detective work, to stake out the room where the ghost kept appearing. They settled in for a long stay. Several days passed, with the two of them watching the room, waiting for the ghost to appear, but nothing happened. On the fourth day, Claire had an idea.
The ghost is probably seeing us, so maybe we should hide. Okay, I'll shrink down and you find a place to hide. I already have a spot. A cabinet under the stairs, where nobody keeps anything. Sometimes I even find my parents.
The cabinet had little holes in the doors that they could look through. They watched for a while, but when they got bored, Claire started playing with her flashlight, showing Kaz how to make shadow animals. Kaz never had a shadow, so this was pretty cool. Then they heard the telltale ooh coming from the room. The lights flickered on and off. They pressed their faces against the holes in the cabinet to see what was going on.
Did you see that? I saw somebody run across the room.
The lights were back on, and they left the cabinet. Floating on the ceiling was the ghost, except up close, it looked just like a cloud of white fog. Someone was tiptoeing away. So Claire shined her flashlight.
Aha! I found you! Grandma Karen?
Grandma Karen tried to distract everyone. As quietly as possible. So, the children went back to their books, and Grandma sat Claire down to talk to her.
Are you really the library ghost? Why? How do you do it? So many questions. Well, I have a fog machine hidden in that corner, and I have a remote that turns off the light and makes the ooh sound. Why do you do it? Do you not want people to come to the library, and do you want the trustees to close down the place? No, not at all. Don't you see how excited the children get when the ghost appears? I think it makes them want to come to the library even more often. And when the trustees realize that, they'll never close that down the library.
Well, this made sense to Kaz and Claire. Claire promised not to tell anyone, and even to help her grandmother with her ghostly tricks.
Well, we solved the first mystery. Yeah. You don't look that happy. No, I'm happy. I was just hoping by the end of this, I would find at least one of them. Well, we can still do that.
Claire proposed that they form a detective agency that solves mysteries that have to do with ghosts. That way, Claire could work on her detective skills, and Kaz could try to track down members of his family. They decided to call themselves C&K Detectives.
Black jacket.
And soon we'll have lyrics. first story, but we thought we'd let you see a little bit about how their detective business went, and let you see if Kaz tracked down any of his family.
We got our first customer. Really? Someone called about a ghost mystery? Well, technically my mom, but I took the call, so let's go.
Claire and Kaz had worked out a system where he would shrink himself down and travel in a bottle that Claire carried with her. That way, he wouldn't get carried off by the wind. This made him a bit nervous, but he did it anyway. Anything to find his family.
Oh, there's a hat.
They were stopped by a young boy named Eli.
I want to go in there, but why? He said that there's a ghost in there. Well, maybe there's a ghost. Well, I warned you.
Mrs. Beasley answered her door. It took Claire a little while to convince her that she was old enough to help.
You go and see if there's any signs of ghosts. So, what do you know about your ghost? So, in the attic, there's someone crying, doors slamming, and marbles rolling. Well, I'll go take a look. Did you find any signs of ghosts?
Suddenly, Kaz heard a barking from outside. A barking that sounded very familiar.
Cosmo? Yes, that's him. I
For-
think it's him.
Forgetting about the wind, Kaz rushed out the window and was immediately carried away, as was Cosmo.
Excuse me, narrator, but we don't have enough time for this. Let's just say I chased them, caught them, and brought them back home.
Okay then. Kaz was very happy to find,
Fine. One of my family members.
there it is,
We had a couple of suspects, though. Our first suspect was Cosmo. When we got there, we started in the yard. Started in the attic. Our second suspect was Eli, the boy outside. And our third suspect could be a different ghost. Well, we didn't have any evidence. We left Cosmo with Becca. I don't remember agreeing with them.
and they went back to Mrs. Beasley's attic.